I'm Rochelle Courtenay and I'm super excited to bring you another bloody podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Rochelle, founder of Share the Dignity, and I am welcoming today to the podcast Christian Hull.
I'm so excited. And that's where you play a fake applause sound effect if we were on radio. The crowd goes wild. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
It's very exciting for you to join us on the pad couch.
This is the pad couch.
Yeah.
It's very padded. It's padded.
Let me do my intro to Christian Hull that I prepared so beautifully. Are you ready?
Okay, here we go.
Christian Hull is a comedian and is well known for being Australia's much-loved funny man. But I know him as the man with the big heart. Christian has been helping us to share the dignity since 2018. Across his platforms, he has 3.7 million followers.
Do I?
86% of which are women, and we are super lucky at Share the Dignity that he uses his platform to help us ensure everyone knows about the unfortunate realities of period poverty and how you can help.
Yay.
I have a would you rather question for you.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Would you rather go without toilet paper or go without underwear?
Oh, without toilet paper. I'm not wearing underwear currently, so that's an easy one.
So I asked that question because for so many women, they don't have a choice, right? And we say when we're donating products, for some women to even have a pad, they don't even have underwear to put the pad into.
I've never thought of that, actually.
So when we were devising a would you rather question for a male, it was much harder than anybody else, right?
Because
it's hard for it to be relative to a male. Period poverty. Yeah, it's something that you so warmly embraced. I would love to dig a little deeper as to when did you first hear about Share the Dignity?
I remember it so vividly. I was in an Uber. It was when I was living in Melbourne, and it was the Thinker Girls. They had a late night show on Kiss. Is it Thinker Girls? And you were on it, and you were talking about the It's in the Bag campaign because that campaign is where you fill a bag with sanitary items, period products, drop it off at Bunnings, and then it gets delivered to, I guess, women who really need something at Christmas time. And I just thought that's so fantastic because normally a financial transaction is so impersonal. Like I've donated to a charity on your behalf. It doesn't feel like and you go, where's that money going? Like you physically donating a bag, you know it's going to someone because you can't turn that into cash or you can't do... You as a charity have to physically, that's what we've bought. And I just love that idea. And I think I had a little social following at the time. And so I was like, great, let's do this. And then I realised that's only a small part of what you guys do. And then I was like, oh, period poverty? What's that? I was like, periods? What are those?
So, Christian, we would love to delve into, were you educated about periods at school or by your mother or your father?
No. So I have the best parents ever, but I didn't have that sort of sexual health chat with mum or dad. It was just done at school, primary school. I think I was year 5 and we had Johnson & Johnson kits. And so they came out and it was sort of like, I don't think we had condoms then. It was just sort of watch this video. There's a kit with some diagrams. Boys go into one side of the room. Girls go into a totally different room and then you sort of come back and there's questions, but no one knows what to ask. But it was weird. I don't think I learnt about much. When you're confronted with that in year 5, you're like, oh, it's a penis. Oh my God, there's a vagina on the screen. So you're like, oh my God, we're not allowed to look at those. And I think I have no idea what they taught us other than this is the urethra. These are the testicles. And a baby is made by putting the urethra into the woman's urethra and, well, obviously not. That's what
like
I've been doing wrong. And that was literally it.
Do you ever remember your mum having a period? Ever not? So there was nothing?
None whatsoever. I think because I'm just a bit useless and a bit naive and blasé, there could have been the pad. I think I was like, what's this? And it was a pad and mum, and then I'm just like, she starts, what's this, mum? Mum, what's this thing? It's got a quiz question on it. That's a pad. And then as soon as she starts, I'm like, oh, my eyes glaze over. I'm not listening to her. I've got things to do outside. I'm going to go run. You know. So there was never like a proper sit down explanation from her.
And so then when you joined Share the Dignity, when you learn about Share the Dignity, can you remind us about
so
your
embarrassing
epiphany?
Oh my God. I learnt so much about the vagina, about how many holes a woman has, about where the pee comes from. Like just, I'm sure they would have tried to teach me that in school. I'm like these basic things. But like I learnt that some of the more embarrassing things were that the pad, like a pad is, I know it's sticky. It's got some sticky things on it. And I thought you just stuck that on your vagina. I just thought that's to stick it on yourself. And then just didn't think anything of it. And then thanks to Share the Dignity, I learnt, no, you stick it on the underwear because there was a question. I was like, women obviously have to take their pad off to urinate. And someone was like, sorry, what? I'm like, well, they stick it on their vagina. Sorry, you're an ambassador for Share the Dignity. I'm like, yes, I am. Proud ambassador. Okay, Christian, we need to sit you down or we need to teach you some things. And then I learnt that you stick it to the underwear.
Was it you that asked the question, could you go to the toilet with a tampon in?
Oh, yeah. Yes. And the answer is yes.
Well done.
It's okay, you can. Okay. There's just so many things that I've learned. I've also learned that I know where everything is. The labia minora, labia majora, the cervix. Didn't know that was a thing. Sounds like a...
You probably never needed it though, right?
No. Do you know I am a platinum star gay? So for those that are like, what's that? That means, I've never touched a vagina, not even mum's. That sounds weird. Like I didn't get pushed out of
right,
I was cut out.
Came out of the hood.
Gold star gay is natural birth. You've slid out of your mother. Platinum is didn't even do that. So I've been nowhere near any vaginas ever in my life.
Right.
So yeah, I've learned a lot later in life about them.
I remember us having a conversation very early on about the fact that how many period products did you think that somebody used?
Oh, that's right. That's right. So I thought like a box of tampons, you get 12 tampons, 12 months in a year, one period every month meant that was a year's supply of tampons. I just thought I have a period, I will use a tampon or a pad. I was shocked when people were like, oh, no, I'll go through boxes at a time.
We were shocked when you said that too.
Really? Because I feel like I can't be the only one, surely.
And that's the thing, though. I don't think you are the only male in Australia who doesn't know that information, which is why it's so important that you are a change maker for us, right? Because it's not, what Share the Dignity is not a female's issue. It's society's issue, and that includes men and women.
It's a people issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And little boys who don't get educated around menstruation end up being somebody's partner, boss, father, friend, and they don't know about menstruation. I think that's so wrong, which is why, the bloody big survey to us is so important, that making sure that education is there for people at school instead of segregating boys and girls, because that's where the shame starts, right?
Well, yeah, and also it's small things like I watched a video where a guy was like, oh, I now put pads and tampons in my bathroom, so if any of my female friends, and I just let them know that they're there, they don't need to ask, they can just go and use them. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So now I've got a bathroom just filled with them. But I never have anyone over. But it just made me, I was like, there if you need it. Trudy, it's there if you need. She's like, okay, thanks. Mum, it's there if you need. She's like, haven't had one in a while. I'm like, good point.
But your brothers have got wives.
Yes,
and now kids, and
they're
there. And that's changing the world, right?
Yeah.
One pad at a time.
Oh, God.
One tampon at a time.
I feel like it's just one pad forward, two pads back, really, isn't it?
You know what? We just have to keep using our voice, right? We have to normalise the conversations as well.
But I think that's happened. You've removed the tax on period products. You've got vending machines in so many places. So many people know about Share the Dignity. It's about realising that there are these places that women can go to, that need is people are trying to fulfil that need. We know you can't afford it. We're working on it. Here's what you can do. Here's where you can go.
Did you know that there is a toilet, like an Australian toilet register? So there's like an app where it can show you where a public toilet is anywhere. You know what my goal is to get an app where you can get access to free period products in Australia.
I wonder if you could partner with them. Just use all their infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then just go, can you just whack on the following in your map?
I hope so. I hope so. That will be the day where access to period products are as accessible as toilet paper.
I think the question that I've get asked a lot is obviously when you give out stuff for free, you have people that'll exploit the situation. Do you get that much at all? You sort of negated that with the vending machine because you push it and you can only get one every 10 minutes.
And I think that if anyone wants to stand there and get 3 or 4 packs out and they want to wait for 40 minutes, don't they really need those 4 packs, right?
That's a really good point. Yeah, there is a reason.
There is a big part of me that says that if somebody wants to steal something or take too much of, then they must really need that.
Yeah.
You know, and who are we to judge that piece? So, yeah, I think the vending machines were absolutely a reason to ensure that people didn't take more than what they need, but also that silly bit where people would just empty them for the sake of emptying them.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
How many vending machines do you have?
We have 753 vending machines. And we have 2 with your name on them, right?
Stop it. Yes. 700.
Yeah.
Wow. Because when did that idea start?
So in 2016, I was at a homelessness service who we'd given period products to, and a lady came up to the counter and there were 2 ladies in that room and one lady was in a wheelchair. So imagine being homeless. That would be hard enough, right? But imagine being in a wheelchair. Anyway, the other lady came up to the counter and the counter was caged and she said to the 2 men, can I get some period products? And he goes to the other guy, do you know where the period products are? And he goes, oh, yeah, they're upstairs. And he comes down and he goes, do you want pads or tampons? And I dead set would have died. I would never have gone up to the counter in the first place. I just thought that the period products that we give them would be in the bathroom, right? And they weren't. Anyway, and I interrupted and I said, can you please just give them both to her? And he did. And then I asked the manager, why are the period products that we donate not in the bathroom for them? And she said, because they fall under the Therapeutics Goods Association Act, we can't put them in unopened into the bathroom.
They fall under.
Yeah, that's how we ended up getting the GST removed.
Because I can't believe that they're a therapeutic.
Well, they're medical. They're medical.
They go,
they're deemed medical. The tampons go inside.
Pads?
No, they're not now, but they used to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were then having to put full packets of pads and tampons out in the bathrooms, and unfortunately the ladies were trying to take them back to the supermarket to swap them for food. Because for them, what was more important, buying food or using a wadded up toilet paper to deal with their period. So that was a game changer for me. I literally got back on the plane and at that point we'd won a Jetstar grant. So I was able to fly around Australia with that fund. It was such a game changer for Share the Dignity. And on the plane there was a picture of a pink vending machine in a magazine and it had nothing to do with Share the Dignity, and I saw it and thought, that's my answer. How do I create a vending machine that can dispense them so that they don't have to ask anyone? Because I would never have asked anyone for them. But then I had a dream that some kids at a school had emptied them and they were all over the floor in this bathroom. Literally, it was so vivid. And so I went to vending machine suppliers and said, I want you to make me a vending machine and I want you to make sure it's got a timer on it so they can't just empty it. Well, I would have had 80 no's. They couldn't do it. They're like, no, we don't do that. Vending machines are meant to make money, and lots of them laughed at me. Anyway, we now have 753 vending machines, but that first one, we actually installed one in McDonald's at Bracken Ridge, and we put it there because we knew that it was a kind of like a low socioeconomic area. We knew that the exchange of parenting agreements were always at the local McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
And that women felt safe there because there was a high police presence and there was Wi-Fi and it was air conditioned.
Geez, you put a lot of thought. That's things I just wouldn't have thought about.
It was just safe, right? So that was our very first one. And then not long after that, we put a vending machine in Hampton Park High School. It was a massive game changer for us. So we put the machine into the high school and a young girl, Sarah, came up to me afterwards and said, oh my God, I wish this machine was here 2 weeks ago. I got my period and the boys laughed at me. I'd stained the back of my dress and the chair, and she said I was nearly dying, and I went home and I text mum to get her to bring me more period products home, and her mum rang her and she was in tears and she said, Sarah, I don't get paid till Thursday.
Oh, shit.
5.5 million Australians live like that. And so Sarah missed 2.5 days of school. And for me, that was like there is no way that anyone should miss out on a day of education because their family can't afford period products. So rolling out vending machines into schools, into low socioeconomic schools, was our absolute highest priority. And I'm really proud to say now that in Queensland, every primary and high school is now rolling out our vending machines.
That's
so
insane.
by the end of soon we'll have thousands and thousands of them out there, and we want them in every library, in every public pool, in every university, stadium, where you can get toilet paper. We want access to period products.
Will the Queensland government be funding the ones for the schools? Because
The Queensland government funded the ones to the schools. All of the others we've funded ourselves through philanthropy, through the work that we do with Woolworths. But the ones that you funded were through your birthday fundraiser, right? So you decided that that's what you were going to do.
I sacrificed my birthday presents, and I am a needy person. And I said, please donate to share the dignity. And how much was it? Something
$36,000, I think, was raised, which was incredible.
And then that went into basically paying for 2 of the vending machines. How much does one cost per year, basically, to keep stocked?
It costs $10,000 to put the machine on the wall and keep it stocked for the first year. Then it's around $5,000 a year after that for stock. But it depends on its usage, right? We have them in hospitals which dispense about $13,000 worth of stock, which is why it's so important for us, for the government to pick up the slack and put period products available in all hospitals.
So you still pay for the ones in the hospital?
Yes, we've paid more than over $300,000 in period products in hospitals in Australia. So when we're finished this bloody big survey and we use that data to make change, it's to advocate. If you can get your head sutured, a CAT scan and morphine in a hospital, you should be able to get a pad.
My worry is with, post-COVID, cost of living crisis, rental crisis, it's so hard to afford anything. And the first thing to go is, well, you don't have any money to donate. So you've got to look after yourself. So you've got 700 machines. You have this cost of living crisis going on. So I'm assuming donations are not great, like lowest they've ever been, you'd say?
Yeah, they are.
And so what happens?
Well, I always say we are a business. We're a charity, but we're a business, and our job is to make sure that we have sustainability in the business, right? So being frugal when we can, and we always value the donated dollar, right? So just making sure that we make the right decisions, but also putting away money for those vending machines, because while we may have money now, we need to have money in 3 years' time. When somebody knows to go to that machine, we need to know that machine can always be stocked. And I think that was one of the really big lessons for me early on in the charity when the GFC hit. I mean, lots of charities went down during COVID too, right?
Yes.
Our job is to have impact, but it's also to make sure that we have sustainability in ensuring those machines are always stocked. So whilst you had that birthday fundraiser, it's important for us to showcase that, but everybody could do that, right? Because that just keeps the vending machines stocked. A lot of people rely on us. Like if I think about during COVID, when that lady from a charity called and said, I've got 50 women coming for Christmas and you've only given us 20 bags because we just didn't collect enough bags.
Gotcha.
Oh, my God, I cried and cried and cried because there's no contract there. But our job is to relieve the pain a little bit for the women who fled domestic violence and, living with homelessness. And it hurts. That's the real bit of it, right?
Obviously it would hurt because then you've got 30 women who are going to show up and be like,
you can only give 20. Sorry, you 30 aren't as worthy.
Yeah.
So do you just not give them out at all? Or do you know what I mean? Like it was pretty hard. It also doesn't just affect me. Those incredible volunteers give their time and their energy.
You have dignities, which are like a morning tea, and a lot of people come. It's a great way to raise money. There's a lot of speakers, and usually on the panel there is someone who has gone through something horrific they've been given a bag or Share the Dignity has done something for them, and to hear their story and they're just like, yes, a bag with period products in it changed my thinking, it changed how I valued myself. It just, the huge impact when someone is at their absolute lowest, you would think, as someone who's, I'm doing all right for myself, I would think like cash. I just give them some cash. But no, that's, again, not really impersonal. This was a bag with a handwritten note in it that, told this person that they're valued.
So what story has resonated the most for you?
Fiona's was a good one where she was like, just this note in the bag. She was like, cool, I got some great stuff, which was handy, but she kept the handwritten note from, this random person that donated a bag. And she said that was when sort of I was like, yes, right, I am important, I am valued, I'm going to turn my life around. And I was like, whoa. I thought it would just be a little temporary, here you go, here's a bag to get you through the next month. But no, it's like, it's life-changing.
What do you love the most about putting together the bag?
Realising how good I have it, that I shouldn't be complaining about things. And also, I guess, just knowing that this bag that I've put together is physically going to someone. Like, it's nice to be able to donate money, but you're like, I don't know where this is going. Whereas the bag, you just know where it's going, and it's just a nice feeling.
For most of us, we all have too much stuff, right? And just to...
So much stuff.
In your bathroom cupboard. I mean, that's how the idea came about, was just cleaning out my bathroom cupboard and being so grateful for what I've got, but also realising that I just had too much stuff and how important it is to somebody else. But you and I have been very lucky to meet a few of the women that have received a bag. And this is the beauty of this podcast, is that we will be talking to those women.
Oh, great.
Right?
Great.
So we want to hear directly from them about the impact of their bags, because we get to hear it and it is so important for everybody else to be able to hear their story.
I've made a tradition every Christmas. What do you get people that have everything? I'm just like, I put together a bag, take a photo with all the contents out, just take a photo, and then at Christmas time I text friends, bought you this, it's going here, thank you, well done. And they're like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm like, yep. Oh. And then I get like, oh, wow, Christian, that's so good of you. I'm like,
You're so Christian.
I'm the Mary MacKillop of Australia. Well, no, she's the Mary MacKillop of Australia. Mother Teresa. I'm the Mother Teresa.
Out of all of the charities that there are in Australia, actually in the world, why did you choose Share the Dignity to help?
Great question, because never had a period, not a woman. I mean, but again, you don't have to be a woman to support women. I think because I had such a huge female audience, and learning about Share the Dignity when I did, I was sort of new to social media, and I was like, oh, I could make a pretty big impact here. And then, I did one post, and then we spoke, and I was like, oh, I could do this permanently. I could be, can I please become an ambassador? And I just thought, well, it's a lot easier for me to preach to a choir.
So I want to share the impact of your kindness, right? Okay. So this is what a charity wrote to us. Recently, a client presented in our office quite embarrassed and withdrawn. She did not have the financial capacity to purchase period products for herself and wasn't sure where to turn. We discreetly took her to the bathroom and went through the process of receiving free products from the Dignity vending machine. This lady became quite teary and told us the story how she had to wash her undies out daily, sometimes twice a day, with a public tap to ensure she had not soiled her clothes. This machine helped this lady regain dignity in her life. This story is only one of many that we hear daily from our clients who use this machine. This is from one of the machines that you funded.
Wow. That's really great. It's very sad. Good. Yeah.
Could you imagine having to... Yeah.
It just sucks to go into a public bathroom and wash your clothes, wash your underwear. The impact that then has on someone's confidence and that small change. I guess it's not, having never had a period, I don't understand what receiving those will do. Like physically, okay, well you're not going to bleed everywhere now. I'm going to go and do the following. And so it's sort of like that Kickstarter to solve one problem, and then you can then make time to solve another. And
I remember when we'd installed a vending machine in a domestic violence service in Cairns, and we put the machine in, and a lady came up to me afterwards and said, I came in here on Monday and I was black and blue, so she still had remnants of bruises all over her, and she said, I needed help for legal help. I needed to get my daughter into another school, and I had nothing on me. And she said, and then I got my period, and she's on the Tuesday, and she said I was just using toilet. Actually, she said I was using McDonald's napkins because they're much more
like they're thicker.
They're thicker than others. And I was like, oh my God, imagine needing to know that to be able to deal with your period. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And then on the Wednesday we installed the machine, and she said I just went in there and saw it and sat on the toilet and just cried and sobbed. And she said, and I said to her, why didn't you go and ask them? And she goes, oh my God, I just had walked in here on Monday with all my hands out, and I just kept asking them for more help and more help and more help. And she's like, that tampon allowed me just to focus on what the next thing was without having to worry about whether she was going to bleed through her McDonald's napkins. So, they have such a profound effect that we don't see people sitting up on the stage at Dignities or, being brave enough to share those stories, but they're so important.
Yeah.
Could you give me an analogy of how you think men could relate to a woman going without the very basic of essentials like period products?
Yes. Diarrhea, for example. I know we're really taking it there. You've got no choice. It's coming out regardless. That's the best way I can describe. You just have to shit yourself. Would you? Are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd agree.
And
like,
imagine what the
period,
anxiety feels like when you are in that situation. We've all been in that situation, right? Where you don't have long to get to the toilet. What would it be like if you didn't make it?
At least with diarrhea, it's like, oh, there's that. All of a sudden, oh, I've shut myself, and then you clean yourself up and you're good. With a period, it lasts for sometimes weeks. And so that knowing, doesn't it? Is weeks an understatement?
Sometimes some people's do, but that's irregular.
That's a lot. Yeah,
it happens all the time. Like it happens every month, right?
Yeah.
So imagine the
stress of knowing, oh, it's going to happen at some point, and then trying to plan your life around that. It's like shitting yourself once a month, basically. You know it's going to happen. Where is it going to happen? And you're not prepared for it. There's
the analogy, folks.
And then, people can see that you've shut yourself and you got to walk around, and then what do you do? What if you're out somewhere, you're not at home? It's, taking it back to that lady that go to the public bathroom and just wash her underwear. Like that's not got to feel good.
Physically, that's one thing, but imagine what that does to you mentally too.
Yeah, consistently.
Yeah.
And then how you'd be like, why is no one helping me? I can't afford to go into a supermarket and pay, $7.95 for what I thought was a year's supply of tampons. It's not. It's
be nice if it was a year's
God,
supply.
It would be. That's why. It's funny because there was a lady and they all fell out of her bag. I'm like, why do you need to carry a year's supply in your bag? That's what I used to think when I was a teenager.
You're so much smarter now.
Am I?
You've got more knowledge now.
The other thing that I've learnt a lot is it's not just like, oh, I don't have the money for a period product. It's the whole story that, and that whole baggage and trauma that I'm privileged enough to not be around, or to not have seen directly, and then to hear it, you're just like, oh God.
What would you say to encourage other people to get involved to share the dignity?
Well, I think, everything that we've said, like if you get to the end of this podcast and go, oh, I need a little bit of convincing, you're a fuckhead. Like you can hear the impact it has. And I think it's just about realizing that, not everyone's in a place of privilege, but if you are and you can, throw some pads and tampons every March and August in the pink bins that are in Woolworths, you can do that, or donate to It's in the Bag. Or if you don't have time to go out and do an It's in the Bag, just donate financially. And I think Googling Share the Dignity, reading the stories, that'll convince you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You're a bloody legend.
Well, stop it. Thank you.
You are.
Oh, again, I always learn things. Always learn.
Best looking bloke in this room.
Stop it. And look at there's hundreds and hundreds of, the Broncos are here. Oh.
That was pretty funny when they picked you up that day.
Oh my God. So just before we go, that was also a highlight. It was the It's in the Bag packing day where you were at a school hall, big school hall, and you had just a shitload of shampoos and toilet brushes and all this stuff, and it was just packing the bags for It's in the Bag. And you got the Broncos were there, and I was coming in, didn't know the Broncos were there, and they're like, Christian's coming. So I'm like, as I walk into the hall, the doors open, and then all these very tall, fit, attractive men pick me up like I've just, I don't know, I was going to say score a goal. What are you doing? Guys, I'm down with sport. And cheering, I was like, this is amazing. I'm like, oh, I've seen these players before all over the television. They had no idea who I was.
Yes,
and that was
did.
fun. That was fun. That was really fun. But again, that takes a lot of organising and a lot of doing and a lot of money involved just to build those bags. But that was definitely a highlight.
Well, you're super important to us, and thank you for coming on our podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all the work you do. I think Share the Dignity is one of the most important charities in Australia.
Thank you.